The Xiaomi brand doesn't need an introduction. Their latest mid-range all-rounder phone rocking a 48-megapixel camera, AMOLED screen and 5000 mAh battery, and it's been released by the brand's subsidiary company Redmi. In today's video, I'm going to show you everything you want to know about the Redmi Note 12 5G, possibly one of the best budget, mid-range, low-tier Android phones we could get in 2023. I'll test the real-life usability of the phone and we'll check the camera's performance against other phones. The phone has strong gaming chops, so I'm going to test its gaming capabilities, playing most power-demanding games. I will also give you a quick tour through the features, build and design, and the battery performance of the Redmi Note 12 5G, so stay with me. Before we get into it, here's what you get in the box. The package contains a SIM card ejector tool, a quick start guide and a warranty card, soft silicone protective case, the Note 12 itself, and a 33-watt fast charger with a dedicated USB-A to USB-C cable. On the outside, the Redmi Note 12 is designed to be as minimalistic as possible. It has a simple yet elegant design. Certainly, we can spot some similarities between Redmi and the iPhone, specifically in the camera compartment. Note 12 is surprisingly light and very slim, and it's easy to hold. Unlike most modern phones, the Redmi Note 12 has a flat frame and flat sides. At the top of the polycarbonate frame of the phone, we got a 3.5mm headphone jack socket for the headphones, and the infrared blaster and the second microphone for noise cancellation are located on the top. The right side has a power button and the volume buttons, while the bottom has a speaker, microphone and a USB-C for plug-in the charger or OTG devices. The left side has a hybrid tray for the SIM cards and a micro SD card that expands the internal storage space with up to 1TB. The SIM tray supports dual 5G SIM cards with dual standby and support for voice over LTE and voice over Wi-Fi, which lets you make and receive voice calls, text and video calls over a Wi-Fi network instead of using a mobile networks. On the backside, we got a camera compartment. We'll discuss and test the cameras later in this video. The back panel has an anti-glare coating which prevents smudging. The smudges are still visible, but it's not as bad as any glossy surface we've seen on other phones in our previous videos. When talking design, the handset comes in 3 color options: blue, white and black, which is the handset we're testing today. And it's worth mentioning that there's basically no visual difference between the Redmi Note 12 and its premium counterpart, the Redmi Note 12 Pro. The only difference, the Pro version has better components and effectively better internal specs. The phone also boasts an IP53 rating, which is common for most phones in its price range. It will only protect against minor sprays of water and dust. The bottom line is, the Redmi Note 12 has an overall good-looking design and offers decent, typical for Xiaomi build quality. Note 12 has a 6.67-inch FHD Plus AMOLED display with a resolution of 2400 by 1080 pixels with 2.10 by 9 aspect ratio and effectively 85% screen-to-body ratio. The screen can refresh at 120Hz with a touch sampling rate up to 250Hz. By the way, what you're seeing right now is the initial setup of the handset. It's a standard Android installation process. However, you got the option to enter your PIN number, set up your fingerprint reader and facial recognition. There's a camera punch hole at the top of the screen and the screen serves as a flash. The display has decent vivid colors and outstanding brightness range with 1200 nits of peak brightness, and that's the obvious advantage of the AMOLED displays over the IPS or older TFT displays. So Note 12 is absolutely fine for using outdoors, even in the direct sunlight. And its screen is protected with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass 3. I like it. Note 12 has only a single speaker at the bottom. It's unusual, however, overall sound quality of the handset is fine. The sound might feel a bit tiny, even if you would push the volume to the max level. Now let's test the cameras on Note 12. And before we carry on, make sure you're subscribed. The phone has 48 megapixels wide-angle primary lens with a QVGA depth sensor to enhance the overall camera aspect. The front camera has only 8 megapixels, however, it receives Google AI software support. Let's take a look at a few photos snapped with the Note 12. To be honest, I'm very positively surprised on the quality of the photos. The Note 12 can capture pretty decent photos with a good dynamic range. The Note 12 has a standard AI Google image processing built in, and I think it does a really good job. I'm sure in this price range you won't find a phone which would take such a good quality images. For comparison, the same photos taken by Xiaomi 12T at the right side. The only downside here is the digital zooming, and that's where the camera doesn't perform very well. As you can see, the zoomed image gets grainy despite the strong image processing. For comparison, the same shot with 10 times zooming taken by Xiaomi 12T, which also crops the portions of the image straight from the sensor, but 12T has 108 megapixel sensors and the Note 12 has only 48 megapixel sensor, so the difference is huge. My advice, if you want to use zoom, just don't. As for the video recordings, the camera also does pretty good job capturing in full HD with 30 FPS. There's mild image stabilization and the videos might be a bit wobbly. Now let's do a video capturing comparison. The Note 12 gives a nice contrast and sharpness, but it has only a mild image stabilization. It isn't as effective as the stabilization in iPhone or Xiaomi 12T, but it certainly reduces the wobbliness in the capture video material. For clarification, the Note 12 captures the video footage in two modes, Full HD with 30 FPS and HD 720 pixels, also with 30 FPS. Shame you can't shoot 4K videos, but it's fine for simple home movies. At the front we got a wide 8 megapixel selfie camera, which also does a pretty good job. For the selfies or for the video calls, this is way more than enough. Again, we got some Google image processing here, that portrait background creamy effect or so-called beautification, which is masking the facial skin imperfections, wrinkles, etc. etc. Note 12 runs on the Android 12 tweaked by Xiaomi into MIUI 13. Xiaomi developed this operating system independently of Google, exclusively for all Xiaomi devices. The phone has a Widevine L1 certification, which means you can stream in high definition from Netflix or from Google. Gamers will get the most from the Note 12 thanks to its Snapdragon 4 Gen 1, a 6nm chipset paired with Adreno 619 GPU and 6GB of RAM. This configuration should handle Genshin Impact as well as PubG and others. And that's what we're going to find out now. First, the Asphalt 9 Legends, probably one of the best racing games ever made on the Android platforms. All looks fab, despite the high graphics settings, no lags or reduced FPS, all smooth as a butter. Next, Call of Duty Mobile. The graphics settings been set to medium and the frame rate to high. As you can see, everything is smooth despite hectic situations in the game, all works fine. Another popular title which demands increased processing power, PubG. Using the medium graphics settings, I can't complain. All works fine, no lags, the graphics looks okay and the phone doesn't overheat. And finally, this is the most hungry for processing power game, Genshin Impact. The game runs on medium graphics settings and it's fine. I have changed the settings to high, adding some motion blur to the movement, but this is too much for the Snapdragon. The game gets a bit choppy. Back to medium settings, all works fine. Game is pretty smooth, I like it. In general, Note 12 can handle the processor-hungry games, but if you are a serious mobile gamer, you might want to consider a handset with a more powerful processor, Snapdragon 8 or 7 series, which are designed for high-performance applications in gaming. Finally, the battery life on the Redmi Note 12 has been superb. Even with the heavy usage consisting of hours of gaming, photo video shooting and casual web browsing all through the review period, I managed to get around 8 hours of screen time on Note 12, and for charging you get a 33 watts fast charging adapter inside the box, which takes around 1 hour to fully charge the phone. That being said, whether or not the Redmi Note 12 5G is a good device will depend on your specific needs and preferences. Note 12 offers good value for money with features and specifications that are typically found in more expensive devices. The phone follows in the footsteps of its predecessors, has AMOLED display, a powerful processor, enough of storage and RAM, and a reasonable camera system. So if you'd like to check this one out, just scan the QR code which pop out now. There are affiliate links in the video description where you can find the Redmi Note 12 5G for a competitive price. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that video and found it pretty informative and useful. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss when the next video comes out.